Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Saturday Shays Nays Storytelling. Now this story is one that I am excited about. I have actually been waiting for this one to be picked so I could tell y'all. And it is finally here. Okay, so this one has been on my list for a while, and I am running out of stories. I need to get my brain to working and think of some more stories. I had 4 on my list, so I used random.org and I put in 4, and it generated 1. And the first one was this one that I'm fixing to tell y'all. And I named it Thought I Was a Twin. Okay, when I was a teenager, now I don't remember exactly how old I was. I'm gonna say 15, 16. Something like that. But I stayed at my granny's a lot. Actually, I take that back. I do know how old I was because this was the very first babysitting job I had ever gotten. Yes. And I was 13 when I first started babysitting. So I was 13. Okay. So I stayed at my granny's, which was my daddy's mama. We lived on Bowie. Y'all have heard me talk about that before. That was out in the boondocks, the woods. Nobody around. Granny and them lived in town. And I preferred that more. So I stayed with Granny a lot when I could. She lived in a trailer park right in town. And, you know, we could walk. It was close enough. She lived by the post office. She lived by the library. She lived by the grocery store. And we would walk, you know. So, and sometimes I would get out and just walk for exercise and the fun of it and to pass the time by myself. So, and I see another one of my little bitty seed beads. This new family had just recently moved into the trailer that was right in front of my granny's trailer. And so I was there one day, and I always wore shades back in those days, and long blue jean skirts, and then the 3/4 length, I think they call them, sleeves. And now here comes my husband to interrupt my story. Oh well, he's just going to interrupt my story. So anyway, so I had my shades on and I had went out walking. And I think I walked 2 or 3 times that day. And one time I must have had my shades on and one time I didn't. Okay, so later that day, that evening, my Aunt Bill, which was my daddy's sister, the one y'all know that we're close and we're alike and sound alike and look alike and do things alike and like the same things. And we've spent a lot of time with each other through the years and enjoyed each other. Anyway, she, of course, was married, you know, and had a little baby, but she came over that evening. And me and her and Granny was outside on the patio. And Granny had this little old settee. He's coming in. I'm going to have to wait and tell you the story later. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. Albert had to come in and cook up his wild game dishes for our church tonight. It's having they have it once a year, men's wild game dinner. And so he's left, and I can finish the story. So we were sitting on the porch, the patio, and Granny had this old settee. They called it a settee. It was kind of like a glider, but it was made out of metal stuff, and the seat was rounded and the back was rounded, but it was 2 of them. It was made together for 2 people to sit on. Well, me and Aunt Bill was sitting there, and Granny was sitting further down on another chair. And so the new neighbor, the lady, came over and introduced herself and sat down and talked to Granny. And so, you know, she found out that that was Granny's house. It was Granny that lived there, and Bill was her daughter and everything. But to start off with, she just started talking. And then talking about how she had this 5-year-old little girl. And she was wondering, the way she said it to Granny. And we knew, because she was looking at me and kind of like pointing to me. So we knew she was talking about me. But she was talking to Granny, and she said something to the liking of, me and my husband was thinking maybe the girls wanted to, wouldn't mind taking turns babysitting our daughter, or however she said it, you know. And when she said the girls, me and Billy Dean looked at each other and said, huh? We was wondering at first, I guess probably if she meant me or Bill, you know. So, I'm sure we probably asked her what she meant by that. And she said, well, you know, one of the twins. And we just died out laughing. And she says, or we probably asked, what twins are you talking about? Where's twins? We don't have any twins here, or something like that. You know, I can't remember. It was years ago now, so I don't remember just exactly how it all went or exactly how it was worded. But, and she says, well, I see them walking up and down the road all the time. You know, one of them will come out wearing shades walking up and down the road, and then the other one will come out. She won't be wearing shades walking up and down the road. And we just died out laughing. And I said, that was both me. I'm by myself. I'm not a twin. I always used to wish, you know, that I had a twin, and sometimes I would even, you know, how kids play imaginary and kind of play like they have a twin and stuff like that. I did stuff like that. And so I said, no, it's just me. It's just that sometimes when I went out, I had my shades on, and sometimes I didn't, because I had the same exact outfit on. But she just assumed and took it that we were two different girls and that it was twins that looked alike, I guess. So me and Bill laughed about that, you know, and thought that was cool and neat. So anyway, that's how I got my first babysitting job. Because that's who I went and kept her daughter over there. And so I would spend the night with my granny at night all through the week. So, because I had to get up at 6 o'clock and go next door to be at her house and keep her daughter while her and her husband went to work. And then on weekends, I went home to Mom and Daddy on Bowie. So that's how I done that. So that was cool to have someone think that I was a twin. And that's my story. That's why I named it Thought I Was a Twin. So there you go. I hope y'all enjoyed the Saturday Shays Day storytelling this time. And I gotta get to thinking. You know, I think of things all the time, really, and I say to myself, I need to write that down in my list. But then I never write it down. And so by the time I am looking at my list, picking up the story to tell, and seeing how few I got, then I don't remember what those things were I wanted to add to my list. Ah! Okay, I need to do better about that. Alright guys, this is it. I am out of here until next time. I'm done. I'm going to the loo.